So when you talk about failing forward and leaders recognizing when people are failing forward, we can open the Air Force Times, the Military Times once a month and talk about or read about a leader who's been removed because they either weren't ready. I know your views on toxicity and accountability, but do you think that because of the number of leaders that have been removed for reasons that are other than they just didn't do a good job, so they're toxic leaders, they've broken rules they shouldn't have, do you think there's some change needed in how we select those leaders, or is that just that's what happens when you have a large organization? Sometimes people are going to fail.
Well, there's a bit of both, but I think the latter is, the former is actually more of, how do we pick these leaders? And this is something I'm talking to the staff here about is what things are we doing besides looking at a performance report that's written very, it's very glowing. It doesn't show any chinks in the armor, no failures, you got to figure out how to read the code to figure out if someone's not really as good as the piece of paper is.
Right.
And then, with that is what kind of tools do we use? And how do you figure out if an individual has actually done well in all their positions of leadership, or do they have a history where they struggle a little bit, but then they get to the next one and, you may not know as their supervisor because everything you got was glowing. But how do you track that to understand? So, part of that is how do we look at the various, tools we use for those who have gone to various leadership schools and some of the assessment tools that use that, but also as we use our climate surveys to figure out, okay, hey, what was the climate in an organization when you were leading it? What was it, and were you very popular because you weren't doing anything? Or were you unpopular because you were actually getting some things done and pushing some folks? And it's really how we collaborate with the teams we're privileged to lead to do this. And so our assessment, I think we do need to work on our assessment in the Air Force. I've seen where the Army, if you're tracking what the Army's doing,
sure,
they've got I call it's like the NFL Combine is the way I describe it.
Right. Psychological tests and everything, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd go that far, but I think there's some things that we can do to take a step a little bit further in that direction. So it's just not looking at performance reports. It's a little deeper